So what we have here is a stack of about 15 to 20 Xbox motherboards. Got this from one of our customers in California. He sends them to us pretty regularly. But as you can see, with this system, if you can tell by the glare right there, the shiny portion, somebody has tried to flux and heat this board with a hot air gun. Probably not the best idea, but we're going to try to clean it up and fix it. We'll do that here in a second. We'll videotape it. But we also have up underneath here some PS3 boards. So with the PS3 boards, we'll be doing the same thing. Pretty much you heat up the memory chips here for the VRAM, the actual processor chips for the GPUs, and make sure those chipsets work. Now with the Xboxes, you do the same. VRAMs here, heat up those VRAMs, and then heat up this coprocessor and this processor and GPU here. So as we can tell on this one too, somebody has went and changed the capacitor voltages. So these are 3 and 4 different kinds of capacitors on some of these boards. So they've actually had a recap done, but we'll check some of those boards to make sure that they're the capacitors all look good on them. So first we'll start with this Xbox board to reflow it and try to clean up some of this flux, and then we'll move to the PS3 and videotape its actual repair here in just a few minutes. So we've taken the boards out and checked them all, and you know, this is a pretty common issue that we see with these systems. This is all the flux right here, where somebody took and put liquid flux on the board and heated these chipsets with a hot air gun. So you see flux right here, you see flux around the edge here, and flux touching these components. Needless to say, they didn't check the 3 swollen and bursted capacitors. So most likely this board had a capacitor issue, and that's what caused this this system to fail. So we're just going to change capacitors on it and reflow it again, but most likely that's what caused it. Now we have another system here. This is typical hot air gun repair. These are your memory chips, these flat chips right here. These right here are not, and what has happened is somebody has taken and used a hot air gun against them and caused them to pretty much burn up, swell, and fail. With that being said, the top side of the board, you know, they didn't even touch these memory chips right here, but they did overheat this with a hot air gun. So the portion right here is where it didn't heat up. This is the portion where it actually heated up with the hot air gun and caused it to fail. Not a very bright thing, but these right here are heat sinks and shieldings, and we'll show you the third board that we found that was a failure in the actual system. That board is right here. We unboxed this, and what has happened is the user actually took and pried the heat sinks off and hit it with a hot air gun. As you can see, where the flux right here has come out of all the chips, come off the board, flux has actually come out of the board. They either added this, or actually that is part of the overheating process due to a hot air gun pulling the components out of the actual board and making the layers pretty much give up their chemicals and everything. So that's what makes this flux and everything come out from underneath the chipset and through the planing in the board if they didn't add it. So that's pretty typical of a hot air specialty. So is this right here. Looks like they just laid the hot air gun on the actual chipset and overheated it at that point. So you have a felt board here where you're going to have to actually take and reball this chipset. You'll have to pull probably both of these felt chipsets off, clean the pads, and actually replace it. So this is not a reflow, but actual reball. This system right here is actually going to be a pick and place where you have to do it, but that's not something that a reflow would actually fix. And then this wasn't even a reflow. Most likely it was just blown capacitors not supplying enough power to the GPU or the coprocessor. So coprocessor or GPU. And when that happens, they just took and reflowed it with a hot air gun thinking it would fix it, and it didn't fix it. So now we're going to go through the process of actually trying to reflow an Xbox and one of the numerous PS3s right here.